Age is just a number. Welcome to the unofficial NBA Encyclopedia channel, the only place where you'll find wild facts that don't show on Basketball Reference. You think you know the ages of most role players, but time in the National Basketball Association works differently. Some guys look like they began their careers as 33-year-old rookies, many examples of the 70s, while a couple 30-something-year-olds could still be portrayed as college kids. But don't get it twisted, surprise part of the entertainment. Players older than you expected. Chris Boucher, 32, he's not 26. The last player to remain on the 2019 Raptors title team, no more. Always viewed a promising athlete. If he was 25, would be paid like a mid-level exception guy, but settled for 1 year, 3.2 with the Celtics. The fact that he's even older than former teammate Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam, both of whom considered late bloomers, goes to show how under the radar Boucher's been the last couple years. Sam Merrill, 29 years old for the 30th pick of the 2020 draft, new to the Cavs rotation, 20 minutes off the bench, first 2 stints with the 2021 title Bucks, played 6 games with Memphis, can get his shots up with the best of them, but looking like his prime days are already behind him. Cam Johnson, 29, not 26 or 27, finally back on a contender, came off having the best statistical season in Brooklyn, 18.8 points, shot his best, will be viewed upon the 3rd and 4th option on heavy contending Denver, having the luxury to play with Jokic after 2027. The 6'8 sharpshooter gonna continue making bank in his early 30s. Duncan Robinson, 31, born in 94, was 26 during the bubble, 7 seasons already in the association, acquired 3 years 48 by the Pistons, one of the vets on the team. Most still think he's like 27-28, came into the league as an undrafted 24-year-old rookie, certainly looks younger than many 24-year-olds. Buddy Hield, 32, many players from his 2016 draft class supposed to be in their primes, but the 6'4 sharpshooter, as durable as any role player, not named Mikal Bridges, came up playing his second playoff stint. Forever a Warriors legend for his 33.9 of 11 from 3 Game 7 performance, started as a 24-year-old rookie, will have a player option 2028. By the end of that deal, he'll already be 35. Currently 16 on the all-time 3 points list, Buddy will certainly have a chance to finish right behind Steph. Pat Spencer, 29, 2 seasons with Golden State, the former lacrosse standout, older brother of Cam Spencer, known as the NBA player who least looks like an NBA player, especially when sitting down, looks like an LA Fitness superstar, had one of the most unique paths to the league, not a long-term piece, but a mature presence. Some may say a poor man's Ty Jerome. Speaking of Ty Jerome, after a breakout year, he's already 28. It's an absolute travesty how irrelevant he's been after getting embarrassed by the Pacers last postseason. Was aiming to sign somewhere in the $80 million range, settled for 3 years 28, not bad for a role player. Was a legit 6-man candidate for the 64-win Cavs after getting exposed. Many didn't have faith in him no more. Couldn't step up due to Garland's injury. Will that second round stinker shatter his confidence going forward? We'll find out with Memphis. Jae'Sean Tate, 29. Many only started hearing about him during 2021, but after making all-rookie team, will already turn 30. A week into the season, almost the same age as Kyle Kuzma. Played 4 years in college, then 2 overseas, signed a 1-year $3 million deal, returning to H-Town, completed 5 NBA seasons. His team depth just too much, will continue riding the bench. The type of guy who's good in small doses, mixed the hustle plays, scores random baskets, then checks out the game. Still hilarious in 2021, the 26-year-old Tate played in the Rising Stars Challenge, being older than guys like Devin Booker and Karl Anthony Towns. TJ McConnell, 33, an absolute stud and beloved fan favorite, one of the most impactful role players for this generation. Nobody deserves a ring more than number 9 in yellow. From undrafted, the 6'1 sensation, the purest definition of hard oversized any day of the week, played his absolute best ball during the 2025 playoffs. Had his Pacers won Game 7, nobody would have been shocked to see TJ getting some Finals MVP votes. Many undrafted bench players his age out the league years ago, but his fast twitch first step, as good as anybody 33 and older, despite not being a 3-point shooter, has lots of JJ Barea qualities, plays harder than anyone on the floor. The quick spurts when he checks in absolutely changes the momentum of games. Given his unbelievable conditioning, I can see McConnell playing in the NBA till 40, then transitioning to coaching. Jock Landale, 29. First time most of you heard of him. 2023 playoffs due to DeAndre Ayton's laziness. Recently waived by the Rockets after 2 seasons as a backup, but signed by Memphis. Limited bench guy, serviceable backup, below average NBA player with all the respect. Next season might just be his last. Rudy Gobert, already 33, most bigs simply don't age well, but given the Stifle Tower's unique skill sets as a traditional rim protecting center, safe to say he's clearly the second best player in his class. 2 straight conference finals after many hated Minnesota for giving many assets. Look at former teammate Donovan Mitchell, still can't get out the second round in the weaker conference. Some believe Gobert would end up being one of the worst contracts, getting paid till 2028 with a player option. Too bad for the haters, Gobert's been absolutely worth every penny for the Wolves. Malcolm Brondon, 32 and now an unwanted free agent, an absolute travesty for the former 2016 Rookie of the Year. I'm putting him on this list knowing some team will certainly pick him up after winning 6-man with Boston 2 years ago. The injuries just too much, 63 games each of the last 2 seasons combined. His inability to stay on the floor in crucial games makes contenders hesitant. The most surprising guy to not get picked up. It's already mid-August, what value does he bring? Likely not more than a vet minimum. Kenrich Williams, surprisingly Alex Caruso, not the only Thunder in their 20s. The 30-year-old backup power forward, one of the last men in the rotation for the champs, completed his 7th season under contract with a team option 2027. Started out with New Orleans. If he was on another team, would likely get more playing time. Provided a spark off the bench, a solid physical player who can shoot the 3, living the dream. Doug McDermott, already 33, the former Creighton standout will turn 34 in January. A certified journeyman, played for 7 different franchises, signed a year back with Sacramento. A small sample size, but made 44 of his 101 threes in 42 games last season. Never been a defender, now a little slower. Larry Nance Jr., also 32, quietly a decade in the association, back to the land. 8-6 guy, was a 23-year-old rookie his lone season with Kobe. Consider a good vet, versatile defender, okay shooter, and a team player. Low-key good move from his former squad. On to players younger than expected. D'Angelo Russell's only 29 but plays like 34. Should be in the prime stages of his career but fell off since 2019. Dallas only using him till Kyrie comes back. D'Lo always been a streaky scorer, no defense, one of the most unathletic players, the one-time All-Star, just a decent stats losing team guy, already earned his max dollars after balling out for the no expectation Nets 6 years ago. Whenever he's out the league, no one's gonna miss him. Steven Adams only 32, many for sure believe he's at least 35. Aquaman rejuvenated himself last playoffs thanks to his physical presence, hard screen setting, and masterful offensive rebounding. The man's been drawing around centers like sack of potatoes over the years. After recovering from knee injury, forever a fan favorite, at this rate has the chance to stay in the league as a bodyguard presence until 40 years old. Clint Capella, only 31, another big in the association for over 10 years. Make that 11 and counting. Houston did pay him 3 years 21, an excellent backup to Şengün, averaged double-digit rebounds for his career, became a full-time starter with 2017's James Harden. The way people talk about him being overpaid most of his tenure with Atlanta, you think he's like 35 and washed, but should have a few serviceable years left, has a chance to contribute significantly for a true contender. Mr. 32-year-old pretender Bradley Beal plays like 36, an absolute travesty of a tenure with Phoenix. Whatever's left in his abilities isn't worth the headache. Now known as the star, ruining multiple franchises' future, first with Washington, now the Suns, no better fit than the retirement home Clippers. Beal hasn't gotten past round 2 in 8 years. All the criticism over the years, absolutely 100% deserving. The fact that he's even older than Norman Powell, and Powell currently way better, it's still unfathomable a player in Beal got a no trade clause. He's absolutely not a Hall of Famer. Nicholas Batum, only 36, not 41. Many remember playing against guys like Prime Shaq and Tim Duncan. Some even convinced the Frenchman became washed 7 years ago with Charlotte after giving him the max. One of those likable high IQ guys that genuinely sticks around for the love of the game, regardless of age or how many years he's played. The versatile instincts makes him still more valuable than a vet minimum. Truly one of the most underrated role players throughout the years. The king of contract merchants, the type of co-worker you thought be retired 5 years ago, but just keeps coming back time and time again. There's nothing wrong with having an old man's game. Marcus Smart's only 31, but feels like 35. Been irrelevant and forgotten since getting traded from Boston until the Lakers picked him up. Many wouldn't even know if they'd rather have Smart over Batum right now. If he's nothing more than a 10th man going forward, Smart's presence forever remembered as a sacrificial lamb for Boston. The defense and hustle might no longer be there. All that mileage, wear and tear catching up. If Smart misses 3 straight games with injuries, Laker fans will demand him out, will deal with tons of hostility, has a chance to redeem himself, but played 54 total games last 2 seasons, just like Malcolm Brondon and other former Celtics looking like damaged goods. Jared Jackson Jr., only 25, not 28, felt like he's been in the league for a hot minute. A multiple-time all-defensive teamer, former DPOY winner, drafted out of Michigan State when he was still 18, has the raw potential, now a 22-point scorer, looking like Memphis' true franchise player instead of John Moran. Jackson's offensive game only gotten better, decent floor spacer and great defender, still can't rebound well, at least he's got Zach Edey, and more room to improve on the small market. Andrew Wiggins stopped improving, only 30, but plays like he's 35. Many assume he'd be 32 or 33. Hasn't played with hunger since the 2022 title. A decent rotational starter throughout his career, but absolutely underwhelming. Giving all the early hype being a number 1 pick in a redraft, he'd go between 5 to 7. Never became close to being a top 15 player. Kick-walked his way to averaging 20 points many years. Shouldn't surprise anybody if his athleticism declines. Unless he takes his off-season training more seriously, will likely opt into his player option of $30 million annually in 2027, likely his last big contract. If he continues taking his physical gifts for granted, could end up being a vet minimum player 2 years from now. Gary Harris, only 30 years old, absolutely horrible, plays like 35, a shell of himself. All that liability on the floor last season, doesn't have the 3-point shot no more. A disastrous tenure with Orlando, only to get signed by the desperate Milwaukee Bucks, a completely useless player now. His best year 2018 at 23 years old. Ever since then, it's been all downhill. There used to be a serious discussion between Harris and Jamal Murray for Denver's second option. Now Gary Harris might not even be a second option in China. Kevon Looney, 29. How in the world is he not 35? It'll feel weird for him putting on a different uniform, especially for New Orleans, a train wreck of a franchise. Looney's looked 35 throughout the 2020s decade, giving the multitude of hip surgeries. It's a miracle Loon will last over a full decade in the league. High energy, all-out effort guy on the glass, reunited with Jordan Poole, signed 2 years, 16 mil. How much more will his body be able to handle an 82-game season? Wendell Carter Jr. is only 26? How in the heck is he not 30 yet? Low-key forgotten unless you're a Magic fan. Had tons of promise being the 7th pick from the 2018 draft. Compared to Al Horford, he's not even half that player. 7 subpar seasons, the starting center for an up-and-coming young squad, averaged 9 and 7. His lack of outside shot remains lots to be desired. Won't be surprising if Orlando decides to move on from him. For somebody like Wendell to average under 10 a game, a center like that gotta be a monster defensively, which he's not, but doesn't kill your cap too much as a mid-level guy. In the books till at least 2028, a team option by 29, the type of talent, just an average NBA player. Miles Turner, supposed to be a Pacer lifer, guess what? He's only 29, expected to be 32 by now. From being a key part of the 2025 final squad, the once fan favorite has become public villain number one. Given the devastating Achilles tear from Halliburton, Miles didn't want to waste a full season on a team without his best player, elected to sign with their division rival. 4 years, 107, more than enough for somebody his caliber. The Bucks had no choice but to be desperate. The perfect Brook Lopez replacement. Seeing Miles in a different uniform will take some time getting used to. Andre Drummond, still 32? Impossible! Feels like he's been getting vet minimums for half a decade now. He's only the same age as Anthony Davis, but given his style of play, a traditional center reminds everybody of old school 2000s NBA, a better era which suits him. 13 seasons, entering year 14, back with the Sixers. Drummond's peaked as a player a decade ago in his early 20s, once he finally stopped caring about filling the box score, giving his points and rebounds. Not a massive game for his team. Credit to him for being more mature as a player and looking like a well-behaved vet. Maybe he can soon get the DeAndre Jordan treatment. Brandon Ingram, still somehow 27, but appears like he's on the decline, many acting like it. Hasn't made serious noise since 2022. Absolutely not a leader in the locker room. Only the Raptors were desperate enough to trade for him when there was nothing in the market. New Orleans wanted to get rid of him last offseason. Raptors extending him 4 years, $40 million annually. Come back to this video after 2029. See how many playoff games BI wins with Toronto. Aaron Gordon, still 29, been in the league for a minute. People thought he'd be 32 by now, at least somewhere in the tail end of his prime, but found a resurgence, highly respected by every Nuggets fan's last playoffs from 2 spectacular game-winning shots, and willing to do whatever it took to win. After the tragic passing of his older brother, AG plays with a chip on his shoulder. An all-time role player, similar qualities to previous decade Andre Iguodala, one of the top 5 players to gain the most respect from everybody last season. His impact for Denver irreplaceable. Honorable mentions, younger than expected, Tyler Hero only 25 somehow, many thinking he's like 27, Robert Williams still 27, all those injuries, will he ever be impactful in the playoffs again? GG Jackson only 20 for Memphis, Jonathan Kuminga and Brandon Przemski 22 for Golden State, both heavily criticized being role players. All these guys remind us that basketball isn't just about age, but how you take care of yourself, fight for another contract, and compete for the love of the game. Players always come and go, but legacies never forgotten.